I am Beardmohbox, and this is part 2 of my Madden 2016 10-year simulation. Last week I kicked it off by looking at all the records and stuff like that, tried to figure out who won what Super Bowls, and now we're going to have a look at the teams, and to shake it up and make it a bit quicker this year, I'm going to do a bit more editing, not just going through every team and seeing who's there, just going to go through, here's the big players, let's have a look, there's Trey Boston down here. That's about it for this team, let's get moving. So, Anthony Barr is now on the Bears, Shaq Mason's here, Isaiah Crowell, HaHa Clinton-Dix. So they've picked up some nice veterans. HaHa Clinton-Dix is an 89 overall, and they're paying some big money for him. So Tyler Eifert is still with the Bengals, 12 years, 85 overall. Not doing badly for himself. Justin Tucker's also over here, and Aaron Lynch. So the Bills have got Le'Veon Bell, Jimmy Garoppolo making a division switch, and so is Leonard Williams. So they've been picking up some guys from their opponents, but looks like they've got a pretty decent team of veterans here. A couple of good guys. So the Broncos have picked up a lot of free agents here, a lot of veterans. They've got Andy Dalton as quarterback, Kobe Fleener, Desmond Trufant, Vic Beasley, got Kenny Stills, DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys. They got all sorts of players and they're racking up the vets. Jarvis Landry also. They've got a nice veteran team here. So it looks like the Browns have got a couple of career players. We've got Tashawn Gibson, Sheldon Richardson, Joel Bitonio also. Looks like they just wanted to spend their entire careers at the Browns, which I'm not going to say the Browns are, we don't know what's happened in these 10 years, but it's a bit of an odd one. Jerick McKinnon coming over from the Vikings, but I think that's about it with them. The Buccaneers do not have a lot of guys at all. They've got Kevin Pierre-Louis, they've got Mike Evans, who stayed his whole career, but that's pretty much it for vets on here. Let's have a look at the Cardinals are doing. Johnny Hecker as punter, Jordan Matthews, Ogletree making the division switch, and that's it for them. Oh no, they got a couple of guys. They got Malcolm Brown coming over from the Patriots. So on the Chargers, we see EJ Gaines, Kevin White, who's only an 82 overall, so you'd have hoped that in reality, in the 10 years, he'll end up being a much higher overall than that, unless he's gone up and dropped again in these 10 years. Then we've got Stephen Tuitt, Devontae Adams, and Ronald Darby. So the Chargers got a couple of guys, picked up a couple of this year's rookies anyway. Andrew Luck is playing for the Chiefs, and 90 overall. I think he changed franchises last year as well when we did it. So I don't know if he's going to do that in real life or not. Danny Shelton coming over from the Browns. Todd Gurley also at the Chiefs, 87 overall, so it looks like he's had a decent career for himself. And then we've got just a couple more guys, and that's it pretty much for veterans on that team. An interesting one here with the Colts, as they've got Blake Bortles, and I thought, looks like they swapped Blake Bortles for Andrew Luck, fair enough. Decided to go forward with them, but then I go down here, and they've also got Marcus Mariota on their team. So they've got two guys who right now are being touted as, good guys for the future, and the Colts have got on both. Keenan Allen as well. So they're just hoarding vets at this point. Onto the Cowboys here. Shane Ray, 81 overall. You might have expected slightly more from him. Perryman doing alright, 82 overall. Dante Fowler's down here, 85. And then we've got Duke Johnson Jr. We've got a couple of guys down here. They've got a couple of veterans, but nothing crazy, I don't think. At this point, it looks like the Dolphins have the smallest amount of veteran players. They've got Devontae Parker still on the team, but that's about it. Josh Hill as well, but not much more than that. That's an interesting one from a team that right now has got a lot of free agent signings on it. And on to the Eagles. Zach Ertz is still there, kicking around, talking about kickers. Brandon McManus coming over from the Broncos. Brad Wing, Carl Bradford, they got a couple of guys. Sammy Watkins coming over, Dorial Green Beckham from the Titans. So the Falcons have got a couple of vets on their team. CJ Anderson, 82 overall at running back. Allen Robinson's an 84 overall receiver, but apart from that, they've got Stephon Anthony, but that's pretty much it for veterans on their team. So the 49ers have got a couple of guys, actually quite a few guys. They've got Melvin Gordon coming over from the Chargers, Trey Flowers, Devin Funchess, a couple of guys, so they've got a lot of rookies from this year actually that they've signed. So I'm looking at the Giants here and I see they've got Odell Beckham Jr., Dante Moncrief, and they've got Brandon Cooks down here. So if those guys were on this team when they were at the peak of their speeds, that's got to be a scary offense to go against. The Jaguars have got Cam Newton. That's an interesting one. Seeing Cam Newton over at the Jaguars, packed it in with the Panthers, maybe after a Super Bowl in 2016, who knows? So obviously at some point Nick Mangold will have retired, and to replace that the Jets have just hoarded centers. They've got Travis Frederick, 87, and Russell Bodine at 84. Trey Turner, they've got a good line here. Amari Cooper's come over, that's a pretty nice pickup for them. Matt Jones. So the Lions have got a couple of guys, Hill, Hitchen. Jalen Strong became an 87 overall wide receiver, which is pretty impressive. Moving on to the Packers. Lindsley hanging around, Coleman, Buchanan coming over from the Cardinals, Ryan Shazier from the Steelers made the switch. Rashad Perriman also coming over from the Ravens. Let's see if he's still got his speed. He's a 75 overall. These are always the interesting ones to see. 96 speed, he's still got it. This Ben Gonzalez guy's got 96 too. That's an interesting team to play with. Let's see who their quarterback. Just some random guy. 95 overall though. A backup of 81 over it. I think the Packers are doing alright for themselves. Now to the Panthers, whose quarterback I want to see, considering that they obviously let Cam go. He's at the Jags now. They've got Marcel Darius playing from Kuechly's never left. Career player there. DJ Fluker coming over from the Chargers. Maybe had a couple of stops on his way. Who knows? Jay Ajayi from the Dolphins. Shout out England talent. Richard Rodgers from the Packers. Preston Smith. So a couple of guys, but not that many now. Let's see who they've got quarterback. Just some 83 overall guy. Here we are with the Patriots, who've got Ruben Randall coming over from the Giants. Markevius Mingo, Avery Williamson, Terrence Feet. You know, they got a couple of veterans here, but not any crazy big guy. Jadeveon Clowney, that's probably the biggest they've got. Max Williams as well, but that's pretty much it. So nobody's sticking around from the Patriots team right now. And a couple of not no-name veterans, but not very big veterans. The Rams look like they've picked up that left tackle they always needed, but probably about 7 years too late. So he's come over from the Cowboys. Calvin Pryor at safety. Robert Woods, that again, that's a team with not many veterans. Now the Ravens, C.J. Mosley, the career Ravens player, doing what he has to do as Ray Lewis's replacement, isn't going to leave the team. Eric Reed, Byron Jones, Lyle Collins down here near the bottom, Safarian Jenkins from the Bucks, 86 overall, that's not bad at all. And that's pretty much it for the vets on the Ravens team. Jordan Reed, still with the Redskins. Julian Stanford, who I'm pretty sure right now is a free agent, clearly managed to get his career back up again, still here 10 years later. Jonathan Hankins, Tyrann Mathieu, 88 overall. 12-year experience, that's pretty impressive. Bud Dupree down here, that's not a bad team. They got some nice vets, they got some good rated vets. The Saints have Sharif Floyd, Giovanni Bernard, DJ Humphries, and that's it for veterans. Of course, Brian Anger, I forget to count punters. Punters are people too. Russell Wilson still with the Seahawks. Last year we had him floating around in the free agents, so he was released at some point and nobody else picked him up. This time, career Seahawks player, never left. Mohamed Wilkerson down here playing as well, so they're keeping up that nice defense by the looks of it. They've got some good players. Brandon Marshall from the Broncos. Crockett Gilmore, they got some. Jake Matthews, they got some good players on here. Jameis Winston, the backup quarterback for the Seahawks. Vontaze Burfict has switched the divisions, joined the Steelers. Martavius Bryant, 89 overall, 33 years old. Devontae Freeman, Alan Hearns, Eric Ebron, let's see how he ends up, 87 overall. DeAndre Hopkins still with the Texans, 92 overall. Jarrell Casey, but know what? Josh Gordon, but apart from him, they got a couple of, Chance Warmack, really anybody else? Okay, down here a couple more. Trey May, TJ McDonald, 84 rated. Jaron Elliott, Teddy Bridgewater still with the Vikings. That's cool to see. I've got a couple more guys this year that have been loyal to their teams. I think last year we had barely anybody still on the same teams. Jeremy Hill's still kicking, playing for the Vikings at 89 overall. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty much it for them, and that's it for the teams. So if there's anybody missing, the only place we can find them now is the free agents.
Come on, play that funky music, white boy.